CQM, which is the Commission for Air Quality Management in Delhi-NCR, has also constituted several flying squads to ensure that there is proper implementation of the GRAP 4 measures, which also includes that the vehicles coming from outside Delhi, which are less than BS4 standards, should not be allowed to enter the city. So that is also there. Open burning of waste should not happen, and ensure that there is proper mechanized sweeping of roads and water sprinklers happening across various parts of the city. So all those measures get intensified under GRAP 4, which comes into effect when the AQI index crosses 400, but as of now it is even above 450, which is severe plus category. Now, according to the CPCB, as we highlighted before, Delhi recorded an AQI of 461, that is severe plus, and Noida also recorded 466, which again falls into the severe plus category. Now, it's very astonishing to see that people are not wearing masks, but it also comes from the point where there is a lack of awareness about air pollution being a silent killer. It is not something that will impact you instantly, but it's something that the effects linger for a longer period of time. And as you can see here, there are a lot of children here. Kartavya Path or the India Gate is one such location. There are a lot of schools also organize picnics for school students. We see a lot of students who have come here also, but we don't see many people wearing masks, which is which speaks volumes about the kind of awareness we need for air pollution in Delhi, where the toxic air has become a serious cause of concern. As of now, the sun has started shining. The fog has kind of minimized a bit. But in the last 2 hours, the visibility was down to 50 meters in several parts of the city. Now, this is not really fog, because when it comes to Delhi, it's actually smog, a deadly combination of adverse weather conditions and high amount of pollution in the air.
Right, absolutely. Shrishti and Anshul, do stay on with us. Remember, environmentalists are demanding that both the houses of parliament should be debating on the deteriorating AQI. But politics, we are told, is speaking over the air quality index. Congress has called for a debate on this issue, we are told.
You do come from Chandigarh, and I know Chandigarh is happily pollution free. But is this an area of concern, you would say? And do you think Parliamentary has need to, kind of give up on the politics and make this a big issue?
Well, in 2019, I had moved a 193 on pollution, and I had led the discussion in the Lok Sabha. Nothing has changed between 2019 and 2025. Pollution is worse. I have a 193 on pollution in this session also. So therefore, under those circumstances, this is the most critical thing Parliament should be discussing.
Let me take this across to my colleague Pallavi, who's just got us that conversation with Manish Tiwari. Pallavi, what is the Congress now planning on doing? There is a growing demand that this one aspect which concerns everyone residing in the national capital region at least needs a say in the most important democratic seat of India. What is the status of that debate that the Congress is now demanding? Seem to have lost that link with Pallavi, but there you see, Congress is upping the ante when it is about demanding that debate on the worsening air quality in the national capital. We are now getting some more breaking news on the broadcast. We are learning that the Uddhav faction of the Shiv Sena has also toed a similar line as being one with the Congress, slamming the Bharatiya Janata Party government, saying that air pollution is affecting all of us and we must address it beyond politics. They've also gone on to add that the Delhi government is not being held accountable for the city's condition.
Priyanka, you're seeing the pollution figures. Is it important that everyone forgets the ideological or whatever differences, political, and come together on this?
Forget seeing the figures. We are feeling the challenges that the air pollution is bringing to our lives. And it is important that we discuss this above our politics and try and find solutions towards an issue which impacts every single person in this city as well as the country. We are seeing AQI levels rise beyond normal zones. These are emergency crisis like situation, and I think we need to rise above our politics and try and find a solution to this, because we now have a government in Delhi which doesn't hold itself accountable for what they're doing to the city.
And my colleague Pallavi is now with us on the broadcast. Pallavi, we are told that the Lok Sabha has been adjourned over the din that was created on this demand for a special debate on the worsening air quality. Pallavi, I think you are on mute.
Okay, there's a sense of urgency inside the parliament, which is why our MPs were determined that this issue should be raised. And we saw that both the houses, that's the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, both of them have now been adjourned. In Lok Sabha, this issue was raised. Section 193, that's the notice which has been given by some MPs like Manish Tiwari. I spoke to all of them. In fact, I spoke to the BJP. This is something which hits all of us. I know at one point of time, most of them are talking about let's not do politics over it. Rahul Gandhi last week, Griha, did speak about the fact that there is no ideological warfare which is taking place here. This is something which is affecting all of us. So we should have an urgent discussion. Now we'll have to wait to see whether that call is taken by the Speaker and the Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. But in the midst of all this, the voices we got, all of them have blamed the state as well as the central government, accusing the government of fudging the AQI figures, also for not having done enough. And I think the bitter fight is most evident between the AAP as well as the BJP.
Right, Pallavi, but what was the din about? Because this is not normal. If the AQI meters max out and go beyond 450, this is absolutely serious. That's how poisonous is the air that we all are breathing who reside in the National Capital Region.
Yeah, there have been many notices from day one. It's a very short winter session and there have been multiple notices which have been given. And I think in this, almost everyone is a little bit guilty because, we've had other discussions taken up, for example, on Vande Mataram or whether it is on electoral reforms. What is now being raised is that isn't a pollution even more urgent? And if for the sense of urgency, you agree to a short duration discussion on that, why is it that the government is not disbanding all the business of the house and actually come out with some statement or some plan from the government? That is the ruckus which happened inside the Lok Sabha, which the MPs from the opposition demanding that the government is not serious enough. They must explain why it's been such a long time. The figures are not coming down. The AQI is alarming. And have the AQI figures been fudged or not? While the government has made it very clear that we are ready to debate and discuss, you're the one who's doing politics over it. We are not.
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for all of that perspective. We have a reaction that's coming in from Praveen Khandelwal now. Let's take a look at that.
हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली बदहाल स्थिति में कैसे पहुंची। पिछले 10 सालों में अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार दिल्ली में रही, लेकिन पॉल्यूशन पर एक भी कदम अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार ने उठाया नहीं। जब से हमारी सरकार दिल्ली में बनी है, सरकार लगातार पॉल्यूशन को कम करने के लिए काम कर रही है, चाहे वो सांसद हो, चाहे वो विधायक हो या स्वयं मुख्यमंत्री हो। सड़क पर आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं। हम दिल्ली के लोगों को स्वच्छ हवा देंगे, लेकिन क्योंकि 10 साल में इतना बदहाली हो गई है, उसको ठीक करने में थोड़ा समय जरूर लगेगा, लेकिन दिल्ली वालों को स्वच्छ वातावरण।
ये आरोप आप लोगों के ऊपर भी है कि AQI के जो आंकड़े हैं वो फज किया जा रहा है। ये बीजेपी कांग्रेस कह रही है।
ये वो लोग बोलते हैं कि जो झूठ की मशीन बने हुए हैं और जिनके पास राजनीतिक अब कोई मैंडेट नहीं है और अपनी खींच उतारने के लिए, क्योंकि वो लगातार चुनाव हार रहे हैं, तो वो इस प्रकार के झूठे आरोप लगाने के माहिर बन चुके हैं।
थैंक यू वेरी मच हमसे बात करने के लिए। थैंक यू। Remember, Rahul Gandhi had raised this issue that this is one issue on which all of us needs to speak in one voice. You think that's the urgency?
Absolutely. We are not seeing a political angle in this particular matter. We need a creative solution. We have given notices under the section 193 for an open discussion inside the parliament. We expect a fair and transparent discussion in this particular matter. There is no blame game, but unfortunately my sources say that even the AQI monitoring is fabricated. The AQI monitor is designed in such a way that the pollution is way higher in Delhi, but there is a limit in which they shows and somebody is controlling over that. Double engine ka sarkar hai na. We have a double engine sarkar in Delhi and the center. Who is stopping from what? They can do whatever they want to. We are just asking for solutions. We are just giving suggestions.
And amid the dense fog and smog, airlines including Indigo Airlines and Air India have issued travel advisories warning passengers of possible delays due to poor visibility. Indigo said that the flight departures may take longer as operations adjust and advised past travellers to factor in extra time for road travel to the airport. Airport authorities have confirmed that flight operations are currently being conducted under Cat 3 conditions, which allow landings in low visibility but often lead to delays and disruptions. As of now, over 75 flights have been impacted because of the dense fog, with at least 40 cancellations and 4 diversions reported so far. Passengers have been urged to check flight status with their airlines before leaving home, as airlines and airport teams and also the air traffic control continue coordinated efforts to minimize inconvenience while prioritizing safety. And Anshul continues to be with us live from outside the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Anshul, you have been tracking all the disruptions so far that have been caused because of this heavy blanket of smog and fog. Would like to understand, this is in a sense a double whammy for many of the commuters who are commuting from inside or outside the national capital, who are coming into the capital irrespective. They have just bore the brunt of what had happened with Indigo disruptions, and now this.
Well, yes, certainly the manner in which the Indigo was trying to clear the backlog that had happened over the on the 3 days disruption that happened in the Indigo Airlines. Yet again, this backlog has yet again increased their issues. Since this morning, there are several flights that have been both cancelled and delayed from the side of Indigo and other airlines as well. But I'll just try and show you in the frame over here at the IGI airport. Certainly, the situation is improving at this point in time. The sun is out and hence the visibility has increased. So the airlines at this point in time have to say that it will take them just another couple of hours before the backlog since this morning could be cleared. The people who have to face disruptions due to cancellations of flight, they could be accommodated, and then eventually they could carry on with their journey. But definitely this has become a major issue. This is the first day of low visibility that has happened in this winter season, and over the next few days, as it's being predicted by the IMD, there are certainly going to be over the next 1 week, there are certainly going to be many such days on which the AQI will remain in the severe plus category, along with the visibility that will remain that will remain very, very low across the national capital. So the next few days are definitely going to be very, very troublesome, both for the airlines and specifically for the people of Delhi, who will have to breathe in this very, very toxic air at least over the next 3 to 4 days.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Anshul, remember, Category 3 has been imposed. It allows aircrafts to land in extremely low visibility conditions. So that stands imposed, but there will be delays, is what the airline and the airport authorities are also saying. We're getting some more breaking news on the broadcast. We're learning of protest on the derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi in both the houses of the Parliament, and that has led to an adjournment. Remember, we told you about an adjournment of the lower house of the Parliament. Now we are learning that both the houses of the Parliament have been adjourned. This concerning the demand for an apology over the remarks, the derogatory remarks that were made against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. My colleague Payal Mehta with all those details. Payal, what really went on? We were told earlier that the lower house of the Parliament was adjourned, demanding a debate on AQI, but now it seems that there is also a growing demand of an apology that is being sought for the derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Modi.
Yes, you saw that proceedings pan out not just in Lok Sabha but also in Rajya Sabha. In fact, in Rajya Sabha, JP Nadda, BJP's national president, in fact, raised the issue and essentially said that this kind of behavior is not to be encouraged. The Prime Minister is not the Prime Minister of a party. He's the Prime Minister of the entire country. Why could somebody be able to make a derogatory remark, and that also on a day on which the Congress party held a rally in Parliament, and I beg your pardon, they held a rally in, in Ramlila Maidan. And that is why you saw these derogatory remarks really coming out. So JP Nadda spoke about this in the Rajya Sabha, and Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, raised the matter in the Lok Sabha. So both houses for now stand adjourned. But that is essentially over the derogatory remark being made over Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Time and again, the Congress party is said to have insulted the Prime Minister. And time and again, we've seen the Prime Minister really say that, he doesn't get sleep till he doesn't get 2 or 3 kgs of galis from the Congress party and the opposition.
Right, and what are the other members of the Bharatiya Janata Party and also the opposition really saying about this disruption, considering there are these grave allegations that have been levelled, particularly against the Congress party, of what really ensued in that entire vote chori Maha rally that was held in the national capital on Sunday?
Well, the BJP says one thing for sure, that, like I said, Griha, that Prime Minister does not belong to one political party. He's a representative of 140 crore Indians. Why could you not, control what your party workers were really saying? But the abuses against Prime Minister Narendra Modi have come right from the top. You remember that infamous comment by Sonia Gandhi. You remember that infamous comment by Rahul Gandhi when he actually called Prime Minister as Chaukidar Chor hai. You also remember what Manishankar Iyer has also in the past said of the Prime Minister. But you're wishing the Prime Minister ill, wishing that, he dies is something which is completely unacceptable. As being said by over here, not just the government, by the party across the spectrum over here.
Right, absolutely. And Payal, it's important to tell our viewers that there were several amount of sloganeering that was witnessed at the rally at the Ramlila Maidan in Delhi on Sunday against the Prime Minister, and that is what caused this entire disruption and this demand that is only growing for an apology for the Prime Minister.
Well, of course, you can have a rally on whatever you really feel like. That's not of any problem. That is, of course, your right as the opposition. The Congress party, remember, has been raising this issue time and again, saying that vote chori hui hai. But, Bihar has really shown you that there was no vote chori, neither there was a reflection of vote chori ever, that happened on ground. But, the fact that you choose this occasion to abuse the Prime Minister, to wish him ill, that is completely unacceptable. You don't have the powers within you to wish ill for anybody, especially for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That's what the BJP workers are saying, because he's not here. Like Amit Shah said the other day, we are not here because of the mehrbani of the Congress or because of the favor that Congress has done on us. People of the country have elected Prime Minister Narendra Modi to power for third time in a row.
Right, absolutely. Payal, thank you so much for all of those inputs. We also have Pallavi Ghosh now joining us back on the broadcast. Pallavi, any responsibility that Congress is taking, because these are derogatory comments, a sloganeering against the Prime Minister in absolute poor taste that has been allowed at the Ramlila Maidan. What is the Congress saying about it?
Well, the Congress justifies it, and the Congress has not repented about it, and no one, as we are picking up by way of Congress sources, has even bothered to, kind of reprimand its workers. Look, it's okay to criticize a political opponent, but every position requires a maryada to be followed. And the same Congress which is up in arms and indulges in whataboutery when any kind of a comment is passed against, say, Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi, the top leadership certainly doesn't seem to be having any qualms about the fact that look at the kind of words which have been used against the Prime Minister. And it's not the first time, Riha. Earlier also, Imran Masood, if you remember, the Congress MP had used a similar kind of a language for the Prime Minister, and look where he is. He's a member of Parliament. He's considered to be extremely close to Gandhi. I think today's Congress is very, very different from the earlier ones. Today's Congress justifies all about this on two grounds. One, that even the BJP does it, and second, that this is the only language which the BJP understands, because we feel this is the only way we can take up the cause of the common man.
Right. Thank you so much for that perspective, Pallavi. We also have the BJP President, Mr. JP Nadda, responding to this threat that was sent out at Ramlila Maidan against the Prime Minister. Let's take a look at that reaction.
कांग्रेस पार्टी की रैली हुई, उसमें नारे लगे, मोदी तेरी कब्र खुदेगी, आज नहीं तो कल खुदेगी। ये तरीके के नारे कांग्रेस पार्टी के सोच और मानसिकता को दर्शाता है। हमारे नेता प्रतिपक्ष और कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेता यहाँ बैठी हैं, आदरणीय सोनिया गांधी जी, इनको देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए और ये नामदारों की बुनियाद है, इसको समझना चाहिए। और मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगा कि राजनीति का स्तर कांग्रेस पार्टी ने इतना गिरा दिया है जो कल्पना के बाहर है, इसलिए इसकी मैं घोर निंदा भी करता हूं।
So that was JP Nadda, the BJP president, responding to the attack against the Prime Minister. This was all that happened as part of the sloganeering at the Ramlila Maidan, which was part of Congress's Vote Chori Maha rally that was conducted in the national capital on Sunday. It saw the presence of senior Congress leadership like Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, also the Congress president Mallikarjun Kharge. And in their presence, there was heavy sloganeering against the Prime Minister of the country. There was an open threat that was sent out to the Prime Minister that his grave will be dug, if not today, tomorrow, which is what JP Nadda is mentioning in the Parliament. And this is what the demand of an apology is all about. You're talking about the highest office in the country, and that position is not respected. Politically, you could be detached in what you really stand for and what does your politics stand for, but going after the Prime Minister, abusing him is a different thing altogether, and which is why there's that demand for an apology of the Congress party by the Bharatiya Janata Party. RP Singh of the Bharatiya Janata Party is now with us on the broadcast. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining us. Deplorable comments that were in fact part of that Congress rally, in fact sloganeering that was not stopped by the leadership. In fact, they are not ready to take any responsibility of what really went on. They're brazening it out.
Well, that's the DNA of the Congress now. The new DNA of the Congress is that you demean and use up foul language against the constitutional bodies and constitutional heads. The way they have used the language against the Prime Minister is really demeaning, and this is not happening for the first time. This happened earlier also, but this sort of language they have used is really shameful, and it's not happening against the Prime Minister. Recently, they have moved impeachment against the judge of the Supreme Court, High Court, because dynasty doesn't believe in democracy. They believe in my way or highway. I mean, things should move as per them, or they will take you for a task. Then again, earlier on the Election Commission also, the way the Election Commission was mocked in this rally also, where they have shown to people as Election Commission and they've been dragged in the rally. So this clearly shows the mindset of the Congress party.
Okay.
For them, they have no values as for they don't believe in democratic values, and that's why they keep repeating all this. But this is crossing a limit. Well, you can't ask for a death wish for a Prime Minister of a country who is elected 3 times. But you can't make him lose. You can't contest against him through the democratic process. You can't win against him through the votes. So you wish him, do a death wish against him in the rallies, and you, the Congress party supports it. The leadership has not even condemned it.
Right, Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your perspective there. Payal Mehta continues to be with us. Payal, how far is the BJP going to go as far as the demand of an apology is concerned?
You know, you've seen the Congress party, in fact, allow the entire session after session to be washed out because they made certain allegations against the Election Commission. Of course, the BJP understands its responsibility as the ruling party, as the treasury benches, but you know, they want an apology, no doubt whatsoever. So they will continue to press for an apology from the Congress leadership. We do not really know whether they'll allow the entire House to be adjourned or not, but the fact of the matter remains that the BJP is of this firm opinion that the Prime Minister, like I said, does not represent a particular, a party. He represents the entire country as a whole, and he's an elected leader. So nobody has a right to wish death for somebody, or nobody has a right to wish somebody that they should do badly in their lives as well. So obviously, the BJP in this country will go to harm, not just inside Parliament, but even outside Parliament there.
Right, thank you so much for that, Payal. And on that note, we go into a very short break. We'll come right back with more news and updates on CNN News 18.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Welcome back to CNN News 18. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Heem Kaur Saraya. Now here's the latest that we're getting for you. NIA to file a charge sheet in the Pahalgam terror attack case before Jammu court today. A detailed press release will follow, we're given to understand. Now the National Investigation Agency will file a charge sheet in the Pahalgam terror attack case in which 26 people were killed by Pakistan-based terrorists. Now, we are given to understand that NIA investigations had found direct involvement of 3 terrorists in this attack, and a detailed press release shall follow this particular filing of the charge sheet in the Pahalgam attack case. For more on this, we have with us Arunima. Arunima, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us?
Yes, morning. So it's quite crucial. The terrorists who were allegedly responsible for the ghastly killing of people at the Baisaran Valley, they have been brought to justice in an operation near Srinagar in the Mahadev Hills. If you remember Operation Mahadev, these terrorists were brought to justice. But who were the people who harbored them? Already the first breakthrough was made by NIA when 2 of the harborers were arrested. So what was their role? Did they only limit themselves to providing food and logistics? Were they aware? Were they overground workers who were receiving instructions from their Pakistani handlers? All of these details will be known in the charge sheet. Also, we are expecting to know from the NIA who the handlers in Pakistan were, at what point these terrorists who crossed over, at what point did they cross over? Because it was initially suspected that these terrorists were not just responsible for Baisaran, but perhaps for some of the other big terror attacks in the valley as well, including the one that we saw at the Zedmore tunnel in Sonmarg. So was there a direct connection? Were these 3 terrorists lying low in the valley for some time now? Who were the people who were helping them get the food, the logistics? There was and government was under constant pressure for months together because the opposition kept asking, why are these terrorists not being brought to justice? So where were they hiding? Who were the people who were helping them hide? How did they reach Mahadev area where the operation finally brought them to justice? All of these questions are still unanswered. We are expecting answers in the charge sheet today.
All right, Arima, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. Of course, we'll continue to track this closely. All right, let's shift our focus now. Another development that we've been tracking for you. A mass shooting occurred at a Jewish Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach, Sydney on Sunday, resulting in 16 fatalities, including the suspected attacker, one of them. Police, as of now, have updated the number of injured to 40, including at least 2 police officers. Welcome back. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Griha. We are now getting some breaking news from Kolkata, and this is to do with Kolkata messy event fallout. 2 more arrests in the vandalism case have been made. 6 who were part of the event management and organizers have been summoned by the police tomorrow. This is what we are learning at the moment as the messy mess saga continues from Kolkata. Remember, Kolkata police had already arrested the main event organizer, Shatadru Datta, in connection with the chaos and vandalism at the Lionel Messi event. And now there have been 2 more arrests which have been made, and 6 people who were part of the event management, part of the organizers, have been summoned by the police. And that will be, in fact, done tomorrow. They will be appearing before the police tomorrow. Remember, this event at Kolkata's Salt Lake Stadium, an iconic stadium that took place on Saturday on the 13th of December, descended into chaos when thousands of fans who had paid high ticket prices, which went up to over 12,000 rupees, were unable to get even a clear view of Lionel Messi because he was flanked by many of the VVIPs and their families. My colleague Kamalika with all of that information. Kamalika, 2 more arrests that have been made after the main organizer was already nabbed by the police. More on this, please.
Yes, there are 2 cases. 2 suo motu case has been initiated by the Bidhannagar Commissariat. One is the total mismanagement. On that case, Shatadru Datta has been arrested that very day. He's been questioned and he is under 14 days police custody. What we know of this case is another 6 people who were from these organizers, from this event management group, Manali Bhattacharya, Amit Das, Laltu Das, a lot of 6 people who were in this company, who were managing this event, they have been summoned tomorrow. On the other hand, so the audience vandalized the stadium. There are 2 people who have been till now arrested by the police. They will be produced in court today. 2 people who are involved in this vandalization case. Now, there are various aspects the police is investigating. Obviously, there are various questions on the police too. But what the police is investigating, there are several questions. Generally, in such a stadium, be it Salt Lake Stadium, be it Eden Garden, bottles are not allowed. And it was mentioned that bottles will not be allowed. But inside, bottles were sold at ₹300. So, who has given the vendor? Who is behind this? That's a question which is there. That needs to be interrogated. How come so many people came into this playground? Who were those people? Police has also sought help from lot of channels, medias and YouTubers that who have videos of that day. So police is investigating that frame by frame. Obviously, another side, politics is happening in one place. Shubhendu Adhikari is saying, BJP is saying that it is the Trinamool. There is no doubt that the sports minister and his associates were there. So this is a question which BJP is raising. Sports minister can be there, but so many associates of sports minister. Even it is seen that the sports minister has brought in his nephew and niece to click photographs with Lionel Messi. See, in Mumbai and Hyderabad also there were photo ops with celebrities. Even the Tiger Shroff and all of them clicked photos. But the point is, the way here it has been done, that was uncalled for, and that has created some that is what made the audience angry. So is it that they were Lionel Messi only came to have selfies with these celebrities in the playground? There was another meet and greet of sponsors and influential peoples who went there and we clicked photographs. There is no point on that. But the point is, here the people were annoyed because this sports minister,
too much of VVIP culture on display at the iconic Salt Lake Stadium in Kolkata. Kamalika, thank you so much for that update. We'll come back to you as and when we have more details on this developing story. But right now, we're shifting our focus to what happened in Australia, in Sydney, where a mass shooting occurred at a Jewish Hanukkah event at the Bondi Beach in Sydney on Sunday, resulting in 16 fatalities, including the suspected attacker. Police as of now have updated the number of injured to 40, including at least 2 police officers. The shooters targeted the Jewish gathering, prompting a swift response from the authorities. Sydney Police, in its latest statement, termed it a terrorist attack. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese also condemned the ghastly attack, calling it an anti-Semitic attack against the Jewish Australians. US President Donald Trump has also condemned the attack, calling it anti-Semitic. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has gone all guns blazing against his Australian counterpart, blaming him for the attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too has extended support to his Australian counterpart on social media.
Very angry that something like this happened in Australia.
It's hard to believe.
Disappointing. A Jewish event where terrorists and murderers went to kill Jewish people celebrating Hanukkah. It is just unbelievable that in Australia this is allowed to happen. We're supposed to be the lucky country. We're supposed to be a country where people are allowed to express their religion freely, and where something like this happens is unbelievable.
Today was an act of pure evil, an act of anti-Semitism, an act of terrorism on our shores, in an iconic Australian location, Bondi Beach. This was an attack deliberately targeted at the Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah, which of course should be a joyous celebration, and the Jewish community are hurting today. Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge, and we will eradicate it together.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today.
That was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria, and we had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people. But to Australia and the Prime Minister, to everybody that we know so well, we get along with so well, we have a great relationship. That's a Terrible situation going on over there. Think of that. In Australia, you probably read there's been a very, very brave person actually who went and attacked frontally one of the shooters and saved a lot of lives. So.
Let's now try and give you a sense of the antecedents of the father and son duo that was responsible for this dastardly attack at the Bondi Beach in Sydney when a Hanukkah celebration was going on. The first night of Hanukkah that was being celebrated is when this father and son duo opened fire at multitudes of people and their families, including children. So this is what we know of. These are the two attackers. This is the son, the father. Attacker number one is the 50-year-old Sajid Akram. And attacker number one owned a fruit shop, we are told. So he, Sajid, had also a firearm license since 10 years. Remember, gun licensing is very, very strict in Australia, and that's why this sort of an attack has come in as a shock to many, because anything to do with guns is unheard of. This is not the United States of America that we are talking about. This is Australia. Also, Sajid was the one who was killed on the spot by the police. Remember, he was the one who died in that attack, the counter escalation that happened on part of the Sydney police. Sajid was neutralized and killed. Attacker number two is the 24-year-old Naveed Akram. His driving license plate is also something that we have for our viewers that we have been putting out. It's 24-year-old. He belongs to Pakistan, remains in the hospital in a critical condition. He too was neutralized and he is in a critical condition right now, and he is being tended to in the hospital. He was also, remember, tackled and disarmed by a bystander. Very, very heroic gentleman, Ahmed, who from the parking lot, from the car park, he went and attacked this attacker number two, that is Naveed Akram, from behind, disarmed him, took his rifle and pointed it back at him. And that was an act of one of the Australian gentlemen also that has been doing the rounds, going viral on social media. So two attackers, one of them neutralized and killed, the other one in the hospital. His wounds are being tended to, but he will, if at all he survives this, will be subject to gruesome questioning. My colleague Siddhant Mishra is with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, the antecedents of both these gentlemen, one of them who has been killed, the father, the other one who remains in the hospital, they are people of Pakistani origin. Clearly, their entire digital footprint is now going to be scouted, which is what the Sydney police is also learning to do. But in that press conference that was held on Sunday, they did mention about how one of the attackers was somehow known to them, but they did not consider him to be an immediate threat. Now, what is happening about that statement and that assertion by the New South Wales police, and what is the next step, the next course of action?
Well, Greha, this terror attack has shaken the entire world. In fact, not only the law enforcement authorities in Australia, but Israel is doing their own investigation. America is also assisting Australians as far as this particular investigation is concerned, because there is a context. And that context is that in last 1.5 years, we have seen multiple such attacks on the Jew community in London, in Washington, and now in Sydney. And in fact, there are many terrorist organizations, Greha, across the world, which in the past have targeted the Jew community, whether it's Lashkar-e-Taiba, whether it's Jaish-e-Mohammed, whether it's Hezbollah militants. They have also been involved in overseas operations targeting the Jew community. So right now it would be too early to comment on the affiliation of these two attackers. Some organizations they belong to, etc., etc. That will definitely come up in due course of investigation. But as I said, that this incident, this terror attack has shaken the entire world. In fact, condemnation pouring in from all across the world. In fact, a short while back, EMS Jaishankar spoke to his Australian counterpart and extended full support to Australia in these times. So the way it was planned, Greha, the way this entire attack was orchestrated. In fact, it has a lot of similarities with the 7th October attack by Hamas on Israel. During those attacks, also a party was targeted by the Hamas terrorists, and then if you see the April 23rd attack in Pahalgam, perhaps there also people were making merry, celebrating in Pahalgam when these when terrorists attacked them. So there are a lot of similarities if we go back 1.5 years. Such public gatherings, festivities have been on the radar of the terror organizations, and perhaps this is the reason that not only the Australian law enforcement agency is investigating, but the Israelis are doing their own investigation. The Americans are doing their own investigation. In fact, Americans are assisting Australians, and in fact, the global intel community, the security community is also looking into the matter very, very closely, because each of these countries have Jew population living, their religious installations, their societies, etc.
Yes.
So definitely there is a lot of curiosity that which organization is behind this barbaric attack. What motivated these attackers? Who were they in touch with, etc., etc. So those things will come in due course of investigation.
Right, absolutely.
But at this point in time, condemnation is pouring in. Condolences, condemnation. In fact, all world leaders have condemned this terror
including
attack.
Prime Minister Modi. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Siddhant. We are now shifting our focus. We're getting some breaking news on the broadcast. Let's take a look at that. We're now learning that the centre will be renaming the Manrega scheme. The NDA government has tabled a bill in the Lok Sabha where the Manrega scheme now will be termed as Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji Bill, which is a guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika mission, the Grameen mission. So this is an introduction of this bill in the Lok Sabha. It's called the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Grameen Bill 2025. And which, if passed, will be replacing the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. My colleague Payal Mehta with the details. Payal, this is going to be historic if at all this is passed, and this is going to be replacing the Manrega. The centre, while introducing this bill, the argument that has been in fact presented, what is that?
Well, the government has decided to rename the bill to, Ji Ram Ji Bill, like you just mentioned. Viksit Bharat is the overarching theme. Given the fact that every sector has to be developed, nonetheless, people have to be taken into confidence before 2047, because given the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi set a deadline or 2047 for a developed India as well. And that is the reason last week this cabinet has passed this real bill as well. We'll have to just wait and see the minor details of the bill, because I'm given to understand that the entire scheme stands rehauled over here. But the naming itself is going to create a huge it's going to create a huge controversy of sorts, because the removal of Gandhi's name is going to cause a huge flutter in the opposition parties. Opposition parties are expected to raise a huge storm over it, that every legacy of Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru is being removed by this government. But the argument on the government's part when they introduce the bill later this afternoon in Lok Sabha is that we want to name everything behind the country and call it Viksit Bharat. We are not naming this behind Prime Minister Narendra Modi or anybody from the BJP. So Viksit Bharat guarantee scheme, as far as employment is concerned, which was called Manrega earlier, is now going to be called VB, which stands for Viksit Bharat, and Ji Ram Ji, which is of course an abbreviation for Ajivika, which is being guaranteed to people.
Right, absolutely. Payal, we are learning of how this particular bill talks about a revamped rural employment guarantee, and this is what has been added. Any more details that you are picking up as far as this presentation of the bill is concerned?
Well, the bill is likely to be presented this afternoon, is what we are given to understand. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who is the Minister for Rural Development, will be introducing this bill as well for passage. Whether the bill gets passed today or not, we don't really know. Today, the bill is going to be introduced. The government is more than keen on passing this bill in this session, and therefore, a whip has been issued to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both for the remaining part of the week, where crucial bills, including the atomic energy bill, etc., will be brought in as well. What form it comes in, that's of course for the government to explain to the Parliament, explain to the opposition in particular, because they will be up in arms. The government saying that You have renamed the bill. You've done away with the Mahatma Gandhi impact of the bill, and the Mahatma Gandhi name has been, the Gandhi name has been allergic to you, and that's the reason you've really removed it as well. So let's wait and see when this gets introduced in Parliament and what the reactions really are, Griha.
Well, absolutely. We are waiting for the Congress's reaction on this introduction that is going to be done very soon, as Payal is mentioning. Payal, we were also going through the details of what this new bill really entails. It talks about how the minimum days guaranteed for employment, that will be increased from 100 to 125. Also, the daily wage goes upwards to 240 rupees, 50 rupees per day. These details are slowly also trickling in.
Yes, the bill is going to be available in the details in some time, given the fact that, you're also at making life easier and better for, the Shramaks in particular. That's something which Manrega really guarantees as well. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has always been of the opinion that we are looking at a developed India by 2047. All steps need to be taken in that direction, and therefore the bill gets that name from there. Let's just wait and hear from the government in terms of what nuances and what the finer points really are, and in terms of how the bill is set to be a completely overhauled bill, if I may say so. And what are the reasons, what are the arguments that they're being given for that as well?
Well, absolutely, Payal. Thank you so much. Remember, Manrega has been implemented on October 7th, Mahatma Gandhi's Jayanti in 2009. And now the current government is planning to overhaul that bill. Now, we're getting some breaking news. Indian Army will be getting the remaining 3 Apache helicopters in the month of December itself, we are told. These attack helicopters will increase the combat capabilities along the western front of the country. The American platforms have Stinger air-to-air missiles, Hellfire, Longbow air-to-ground radars and better avionics. So this is the latest that we are picking up, as the other 3 Apaches that are going to be given to the country in this month as well. The remaining 3 Apache helicopters, the attack helicopters, that will, of course, be complementing the combat capabilities of India many folds. My colleague Akash Sharma with all those details. Akash, particularly along the Western Front, on how this really helps India better its combat capabilities. It's a big update that you're bringing for us. The remaining 3 Apache helicopters that India is going to get this month itself.
Oh yes, Griha, you see the remaining 3 helicopters will be coming this month, and we have been given to understand that within a day or two, we are expecting these deliveries. Given the fact that this was a contract of year 2020, we have seen significant delays in the particular order. In the July month, Indian Army received the initial 3 units, and now we are learning that the remaining 3 units will be delivered by December. You rightly pointed out, Western Front is the area where we will be deploying these helicopters. In fact, last year in Jodhpur, one squadron was raised, and now we are learning that these 6 helicopters will be deployed in that particular squadron. Remember, Jodhpur is the place that is very close to the Indo-Pak border, and we know that how during Operation Sindoor, this was the area where drones were sent by Pakistan, and in fact a number of aerial threats came from Pakistani side. This is a big update where we are learning that in a day or two Apache helicopters would be delivered to Indian Army, Griha.
Absolutely, Akash. Thank you so much for that. And remember, all the 6 Apache helicopters now will be deployed in Jodhpur, and that's why they take care of the western front of the country. Big update that's coming in from the defense sector. Shifting our focus now, the Bharatiya Janata Party has announced the appointment of the Bihar Minister Nitin Nabin as its National Working President, with the decision taking effect immediately. Nabin currently serves as a minister in the Nitish Kumar-led Bihar government, where he holds the road construction portfolio. An official order that was issued by the Bharatiya Janata Party National General Secretary Arun Singh said that the appointment was approved by the party's Parliamentary board. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Nitin Nabin on his elevation, describing him as a dedicated worker, hard-working Karyakarta who has established a distinct identity within the party. He's also expressed confidence that Nabin's energy and commitment will further strengthen the party. Nabin, the 5-term Bihar MLA who belongs to the Kayas community, is likely to succeed the incumbent BJP